Hello everybody, my name is Chateaujaune and I am here to talk to you guys about Castle Story's most recent update, 1.0, which came out the 17th of August. And as you know, 1.0 launched Castle Story out of early access and we added a ton of new content to the game with that update, and that's the purpose of this video actually. I'd like to go over all the new features we added to the game one by one in a little more detail than we could show you in the trailer. Let's start by talking about crafting stations and military units. First of all, the furnace. As you already know, you can refine iron and brimstone to make iron ingots, but since 1.0, you can also refine stone and brimstone to make glass. So another structure you can use to refine material is the loom, which you can use to refine plant fibers and craft rope, used for things like rope bridges and bows, or fabric, which is a necessary ingredient in a lot of the military kits. Now the workbench. So the workbench isn't new, but we changed it a little bit in 1.0. First of all, it looks different, it looks much better, and now you can use it to craft lanterns, archers, and halberdiers. The halberdier is a new military unit that we introduced in 1.0. It's a close-ranged melee unit, and while it doesn't have a shield to block attacks like the knight does, it's very inexpensive and easy to produce, making it a really good early game unit. The Forge is a crafting station that's going to let you turn iron ingots into knight kits or cogs, which you can use in catapults and arbalist kits. The Machine Shop is also a new crafting station that's going to let you craft bear traps and arbalist kits. Arbalists are heavy archery units, so they have a shorter range than archers and they don't shoot as fast, but the bolts of their crossbows pack a much bigger punch. The Laboratory. It's a crafting station that's going to allow you to produce explosive barrels, which you're already familiar with, the Alchemist kit, which is a new military unit, and bombs, which are the ammunition for the Alchemist. Okay, so the Alchemist. The Alchemist is a bomb-wielding ranged unit, and its primary purpose is pretty much just to blow it up. It's really effective at taking down enemy walls, so that makes it a really great siege unit in PvP games. And keep in mind that the Alchemist can only carry 10 bombs, and they will run out eventually, and once it runs out of bombs, it can't shoot anymore. The ammo that it has left is represented by the orange bar that's beneath its health, and you can craft more bombs at the laboratory, and you can refill the Alchemist's backpack by selecting the unit and right-clicking on a stockpile that contains the bombs. Let's take a look at the altar. So the altar is a crafting station that's going to allow you to make sentinel wards, healing wards, capture wards, pylons, and the Artificer kit. So the last military unit, the Artificer, is a Brichon that's carrying a magical staff that can act as a sentinel or a healing ward. By default, the Artificer is going to fire projectiles at enemies, but you can toggle it and it's going to be able to heal nearby allies. By the way, the chopping block is also a new structure that's going to allow you to turn logs into the planks that you need to make stockpiles, structures, and other constructions. Credit Island is our way of thanking nearly 30,000 backers who pledged and helped make Castle Story's development a reality. So a big thanks to you guys. And we figured that just having a regular credit roll is kind of boring, nobody really watches those, so instead Credit Island is a special map which you can actually explore and build on it. What's special about it is that the names of the premium, elite, and atomic backers are scattered across the map in those really big yellow letters, which are also destructible by the way. And every single person who backed the game also has their name hidden in a gem that's under the ground, and your Brichons can actually go out and mine those gems, and when they do, they'll release a soul that holds the name of the backer, which will slowly float towards your crystal. Now what's really interesting is that the positions of these names is never ever going to change, so that makes it possible for people to actually team up and try to map the names they find, because if somebody's name is at a specific location in your game, it's going to be the exact same position for everybody else's game. We also added a new enemy unit in 1.0 called the Warlock. The Warlock is a magical Corruptron with two different abilities. Its first ability allows it to spawn enemy Corruptrons that are going to crawl out of the ground and come attack your castle or your Brichons, while its other ability is a long-range projectile that it's going to fire either at your structures or, once again, at your Brichons. Another upgrade to the Corruptrons is the leveled Corruptrons. So as you defeat more and more waves in Invasion, the Corruptrons are going to increase in levels. And higher level Corruptrons are represented by this glowing purple corrupted light coming out of the cracks in their bodies. Higher level Corruptrons will deal more damage and they'll also take more damage before they die. Let's talk about the Debugger. You can toggle on the debug menu by going into settings and selecting toggle debug menu. Keep in mind that toggling on the debug menu will void achievements for that save file. In the debug menu, you're going to be able to toggle on instant build mode, which lets you place blueprints of bricks or structures instantly. You can double the speed of the game. You can pause the time of the day or even change the current time of the day with the slider. You can spawn Bricktrons, whether workers or all the military units. And finally, you can also spawn any of the Corruptrons. We added a bunch of new achievements, from building a ton of bricks to defeating really difficult enemies. We added 3 new different brick types: corbels, parapets, and merlons, that are going to help you diversify your castles and make them look much better. We added a minimap that displays a lot of information about the game, but also lets you teleport the camera just by clicking on the map. We've entirely redesigned the menu's look and user experience to improve the maps and game modes selection flow. We also added a public server list where you can join people's games across the internet, and we added an in-game help panel full of articles about the game and dynamic tooltips to help guide new players through their first steps in Castle Story. We've added quite a few new maps, and we've added new terrain visuals, so snow, clovers, thick grass, and more. It really makes the islands of Castle Story much more varied and pleasing visually. We also reworked the trees to make them considerably nicer, and we added 3 new types of plants to add more visual variety. All those tools are, of course, available to you in the world editor to play with. Speaking of improved visuals, we also reworked the skybox a little bit, so the moon looks a lot more ominous at night, and there's a strange monolith in the distance. Also, you might notice little floating islands in the horizon. I could really keep going on like that for a long time. There's a lot more things we've done, like remaking all the icons, changing the meshes on the catapult door stockpiles, adding visual progression to structures that are being built, new sound, new music, and really much more. I'll put a link to the changelogs in the comments below if you want the whole thing. So, right now, we just shipped 1.0.2, and we're also working on a roadmap to sort of outline what our focus is going to be in the upcoming minor and the major updates for the game. In the meantime, we're really open to suggestions, so please let us know what's the one feature you'd really like to see added to the game. And if you want to chat with Sauropod Studio developers or other players, you should drop by our Discord at castlestory.net/discord. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember to like and subscribe if you want to know what we're up to, and please have a fantastic day.